operational now, and it's already showing signs of being a great success story. Could you identify any of the critical success factors?
Well, Beatrice was one of the enabling projects for the UK. So first of all, the government support for moving those projects along has been really, really important, really to enable the supply chain, to really for us to allow us to build a strong UK content in the project, and also really just to support delivery. You couldn't build a £2.5 billion investment without partners. And a big part of the Beatrice story has been about partnerships, both in the supply chain in terms of turbines and other UK suppliers, but also joint venture partners. We've had a great partnership with Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners, and also more recently Red Rock, and that's really been critical in delivering. Finally, again, £2.5 billion non-recourse financed project needs a lot of lenders. So we've had a pool of over 12 banks, including UK and international banks, that have really helped us fund the project and get it through to delivery.
Fantastic. And can you tell me a little about your development pipeline more generally?
Yeah, well, at SSE Renewables, we already are the largest renewable generator in the UK and Ireland. We also have the largest pipeline of new projects, both onshore, offshore, and hydro. At the minute, we have almost 8 gigawatts of development projects. A lot of that is offshore wind, a lot of that's in the UK, although we're building our pipeline in Ireland as well. But we also have onshore projects that we're bringing through. And of that 8 gig, almost half of it is already consented, so it's really a very deliverable pipeline of projects.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Ireland, and I know you're going to be speaking about that in the Global Market Theatre later on. What is it that makes Ireland such a key market for you right now?
Well, the obvious thing for Ireland is that it's got a huge wind resource. So it's an island country, obviously surrounded by very, very windy seas. So for offshore wind, it's excellent. It also has a lot of population centres on the east coast. So there's a lot of sites that are in shallow water, quite near shore, and have the grid capacity to be able to connect to the population centres. The west coast is more challenging, although it's a lot more windy. So that'll be the next phase, probably beyond 2030.
Right. SSE has been really supportive of emission reductions goals, and you've been very much part of the conversation around decarbonisation of industry in the UK. Do you think enough is being done?
Well, I think that the offshore sector deal has been a big step forward. I think from our perspective, it's only the beginning. Really, to deliver 30 gigawatts by 2030 should be the minimum. If we're going to really reach net carbon zero by 2050, there's going to be an awful lot more needed. So things like caps on CFD auctions really aren't helping that. So we think there's an awful lot more that can be done. The willingness is there, and the investment community is ready to invest. So I think we've got a lot of things behind us, a lot of things supporting the achieving the targets. But we really need to drive beyond caps and limitations on build out.
Okay, and I know that looking further afield, SSE has recently realigned its business goals to kind of really sit alongside the UN Sustainable Development Goals. What prompted that decision?
Well, at SSE we're all about doing the right thing. It's actually one of our core values. So really, whenever we take on the climate emergency, the climate challenge, which is what are the right things to do in order to achieve that for our business, but also for communities and for the environment. So our 4 key goals really that are aligned with the UN sustainability objectives are really to reduce our carbon emissions by 50% by 2030 from what they're currently at. We've already halved them over the last 10 years, so we have a big challenge to do that again. How we're going to achieve that is that pipeline I talked about earlier, where we really want to build out a lot more renewable energy, both in the UK and Ireland and overseas. In order to deliver that, it really means we're talking about electrification of society ultimately. So our third goal is to facilitate 10 million new EVs in the UK through our networks build out, mainly in the south and north of the country. And we want to do all that while at the same time doing the right thing for people. So we're going to champion the fair tax and also the real living wage as a business.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.